Find your mouthpiece and put on your jock straps. It's the Sports Blitz with Doug and Robbie.
Okay, how long is your show?
You guys have such a great setup.
Listen, if you're under a rock or if you're in a cave, come on out and listen to our episode.
It was fun talking baseball. I love talking Red Sox. I love talking coaching.
I don't care because I would rather there not be an MLB season than have to sit and watch the colossal embarrassment.
Hey, hello, I am Bloom. Yeah, it's Doug and Robbie from the Sports Blitz. I just wanted to find out whether you need some pitching.
There you go. In 5, 4, 3.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Sports Blitz. I'm Doug. We have Robbie here. Robbie, how you doing tonight?
I am doing fantastic, Doug. It is so good to be back. It has been a long while since we did one of these episodes because life got in the way. But I'm so happy to be back. So happy to be here with you and with everybody out there. And listen, if you're under a rock or you're in a cave, come on out because it's been a while and you probably want to get some food or something anyway. So definitely give us a watch. I will say this, Doug, right up front, sort of peeling back the curtain a little bit here. There are times, as we've talked about in past episodes, where we experience some little technical glitches or difficulties. So if that happens tonight and the episode looks a little weird or like pieced together, I apologize in advance. But technology can either be your best friend or your worst enemy. And in my case, it's both. So just wanted to sort of get out ahead of it in case, again, knock on wood, hopefully it goes through in one take. But if we have to do in multiple takes, folks, I apologize in advance. But instead of worrying about it, I'm just going to go in with that caveat there and then keep my sole focus on talking good old sports like we do here. So
Yes, that sounds good. Sounds good. Every once in a while,
I can't talk anyway. Apparently, tonight,
I've looked at this.
Here.
I've looked at some of the even the professional podcasts, and even the ones that are out there. These guys are with the media, the actual media. They've been with the media for 15 years. They have issues too. So it does happen because
the robotics. Yeah,
it's just the way things go, and it's not a big deal. People kind of understand that. We just have to make these episodes exciting, which we do, and hopefully there'll be people out there that'll just tag along. It's called just watch us. We're good.
We're begging at this point. Just watch. Tune in.
Just tune in. That's the way it goes. We do have two
sponsors. Make
us
sitting up in this house. Make sitting up in our rooms worth it for us.
Right. Exactly. So we have two sponsors.
Yes.
I know this is going to be a description and a link. So I'm not gonna say a whole lot.
Right.
I've kind of changed a little bit of the format. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to say our first one is Zyman Organizing, which is fantastic if you need something organized, drawer, a closet, something like that. A sock drawer like Robbie on a Saturday. You just need to go to Zyman Organizing. There'll be a description. There'll be a link in the description. So you can click on that link and you can get right to Zyman Organizing. Other is Wes Woodson. I just spoke to Wes a couple of days ago.
Oh wow!
We're actually texting back and forth. He is super busy. He's a super busy guy.
See him on YouTube all the time. Just
check him out on YouTube.
Here,
Wes Woodson.
There, just like going good for him, man.
Check him out on Wes Woodson. Check him out, Wes Woodson, obviously, but check him out on YouTube. What was really cool is you have to check out his costume that he had with his girlfriend. It was really kind of cool. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but it was really very cool.
I think I saw it, and it was pretty awesome. So,
it was really good. Cool. So it's he had kind of had the Halloween spirit.
By the way, happy Halloween, Doug. I know it's a few days.
Happy
Halloween.
It kind of came and went. So it is what it is. But he has a book out called "I Have Anxiety, So What," and you just have to read this book. He's going across the country talking about this book. I believe it's going to be on audio. It's going to be an audiobook very soon. I know he was going into the studio to do some of that stuff, to put this book on. I know he's got another book possibly in the rings. You're not supposed to talk about it, so don't say anything. Wes, don't say Wes. Oh, Wes, hey, I heard you got another book. I'm pretty sure he's got another book that's out there.
Doug may or may not be sound
I
safe.
wanted to be angry with me. I'm not his PR
But,
guy,
yeah.
but I'm just saying. But you could pay me for that, Wes. But anyway, Wes, yeah, and so it's going to be an audiobook. He also was in Minnesota last week at a conference.
Yeah.
And he is back here in our area, doing some stuff in our area. There's going to be, again, links in our description. So, check those guys out. They've been very loyal to all of us. The Doug, Robbie, Kyle, and the Doug Kyle team.
Yes,
For a very long time now. We will talk about those episodes a little bit later, but been very, very loyal to us, and we're of course loyal to them too.
Doug, I have before we get into our main crux, because you just sort of popped a thought into my mind. So just very quickly veering off of our
happens all the time, Robbie.
Yeah.
We actually saw the little thought bubble, but
I know. No, I wanted to ask you, Doug, because we were just talking about Halloween briefly. When you were a kid growing up, did you ever, and if so, do you care to elaborate, dress up as any sports-related players and or just costumes in general?
I did one year. I did. My mom bought me a football helmet.
Yeah.
And a kind of this generic. It was a generic football jersey, just had a number on it.
Yeah.
And I believe one year, I think I can't remember what I wore because for pants or anything, but I think it was just sweatpants. But I did go as a football player one year when I was, I think, in my teens.
Nice.
Just because I thought the ghost costumes were I'm 14 or 15 years old. I'm like, I don't want to go as a ghost anymore. That's for little 3-year-olds or 2-year-olds or 5. I'm not 5 anymore. I want to go as somebody cool. So, it was either Freddie or a football player. So Freddie, from the scary.
Right.
Or Jason.
Yeah.
Jason, I like going as Jason too. But still, I did dress up as a football player one year. I don't remember if I dressed up as anything else sports wise, except I do remember dressing up as a football player.
So the two,
you?
I was about to say the two for me that I remember were, obviously I was a baseball player one year because of course. I mean, I don't think that for you who knows me, everybody else out there who knows me shouldn't bear any explanation on that one. And then I think
he is the baseball guru here. So
exactly. I mean, you're the basketball guru, so we have our own niches there. But the other one, again, this is going to be kind of plain, I guess, if you want to call it that. But in one of my later trick-or-treating years, I dressed up as Tom Brady. I had sort of a Tom Brady jersey, and so I threw that on. And, but other than that, I don't remember any other big-time sports get-ups. But I definitely remember being a baseball player and Tom Brady. So those are sort of the two big ones for me. In my good old trick-or-treating days.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. You never hear about any of our teams except for one team out there that actually goes to, I think it's the Shriners Hospital, and they do this every single year, and it's filmed, and they talk about it every year. You don't hear about any other team in Boston doing this, although I don't know if they do or not. There's one team in Boston that does this every year. They dress up. It's kind of cool.
Is it the Bruins or
the Bruins? Yeah.
Okay.
The Bruins. They dress up in kind of crazy costumes. I mean, they rent costumes. I mean, they get dressed up. I mean, this isn't like homemade stuff. They rent costumes. This is something that they do every Halloween, right before Halloween, especially if they have a game. They do it they do it right before, a few days before. They go to the Shriners Hospital and they walk in there dressed in their costumes, and they go around and they say hello to the kids, which is really great. They
Doug,
pass out
I got
candy.
yeah.
They give out all kinds of Bruins stuff. I mean, that's just fabulous. It's something that they, that every team should be doing. Not that I'm saying that teams in Boston don't do charity. They do. There's a lot of teams that do.
No.
But I just know specifically around this time of year, the Bruins definitely do that, and they do it every year.
Yeah.
I
I got some big time breaking news here. I know it's very right at the beginning of the episode, but I got some big time breaking news. Did it pop up on yours as well?
Hold on. Let me. This is very good. This is great stuff here.
We're off to a fire start.
This is very good. This is good stuff. I don't know.
All right.
Oh,
so
wait.
Are you ready for that? Yeah. Are you ready? Yep. I think you're looking at the same thing I am. Yep. So, old friend, and I use that term in quotation marks, the current Brooklyn
Use
Nets,
that. You better use that loosely.
yeah, very loosely. Brooklyn Nets Kyrie Irving has been suspended by the team at least 5 games without pay for, and I quote here, failure to disavow anti-Semitism. So Kyrie Irving is paying a big price for some actions on social media over the last days and weeks, and I don't really know how far down this rabbit hole I want to go, other than just to say, to repeat the news, that he has been suspended for at least 5 games without pay. So there we go.
Not necessarily surprising, but
No, not
a
at
little
all.
bit.
Not at all.
If
you've been watching the news, if you've been following the news these last few days.
Well, this is something that we're really not going to talk about tonight. But I do want to touch upon it just for a second.
I just want,
I do want to touch upon it for a second. And the reason I want to touch upon it for a second is because there's a lot of hypocritical things going on.
Right.
Okay, and it's driving me nuts. And yeah, maybe I'm doing a little rant right now, but that's going to be part of something I do later.
Go for it.
But the hypocritical part is that everybody in the world is saying that you can't say things. You can't say certain things. Okay, that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. That makes sense, especially if there's a sensitivity part to groups or to whatever. The NBA specifically has donned jerseys that say equality and Black Lives Matter and everybody matters and all this kind of stuff. And then you have the selected players saying things or tweeting out, oh, this is a great movie, or even not saying that, even saying, yeah, watch this movie, or doing that, or doing this, or doing that. It's hypocritical to say that we're equal to all, and then all of a sudden, there's, and I'm not saying everybody, I'm not saying this was Tatum or Brown or any of our players, but there are some players out there that think this is a good idea, and it just drives me a little nutty, because we're all supposed to be equal and we're supposed to be out there, and the last few years, some of the court has had these selected words on it. Their shirts, their warm-up jackets. The guys if you watch the Patriots, you watch NFL at all, look at the back of their helmets. The back of their helmets have these phrases on them, the phrases that they're talking about. Equal, Black Lives Matter, everybody matters, all this kind of stuff. And I'm for all that. I just don't like the hypocritical parts of things and the hypocritical people and players I'm not going to name any except the one that we just named, that go out there and just say, hey, this is really a great thing. And no, it's really not. So I think that this is, and just me, this is very well deserved.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say about it. And
1,000%
we
agree
have
on
to
that.
mention it because it's breaking news. So we have to mention it.
No, I
It's just,
I don't, yeah, I mean, I don't mean to derail us too much, but it popped up on my phone, so I kind of had to. We're a sports show.
no, of course.
I
I don't
had
have a
to,
problem with it. And,
yeah,
we're going to, our format is we go things pretty quickly anyway. So we're good.
yeah. But I know we're coming in hot. We did not intend to come in this hot to this episode, but this guy just landed in our laps here. So, yep, no, I'm in total agreement with everything you just said, and I'll leave it at that myself.
I mean, it is what it is. It's good for like an episode. To even try to discuss it is, it is what it is, but it's out there. It is what it is, but it's out there, and it's sports related, so it's important to talk about.
Yeah.
But I mean, I like the fact that the NFL players, that they have it in their signs around the stadium. They have it on the back of their helmets. They have all kinds of phrases, new phrases that they've adopted to make sure that they're sensitive to different groups that are out there. And I think that's important these days because that's what's going on.
Yeah.
Speaking of the NFL, we're going to talk about the Patriots.
Great segue. Segue, by the way.
I am Mr. Segway. So we're going to talk about the Pats, and we're just gonna fly right in there. So what I want to do, Robbie, is I just want to give some basic statistics about from now to the start of the season about where the Patriots are at, where they're at, which is really terrible English, but where they
are in Foxborough, just in case anybody forgot. They are literally physically in Foxborough.
They are in Foxborough. So let me just go through and give you, like, let's see, there's like 4 different stats here, which I think is really important to know about. And then we're gonna jump in. I'm gonna kind of ask your opinion about something.
Of course.
So the first thing I want to say is that the offense has been kind of straggly. That's the only word I can think of. The offense has been very straggly. I know we've had this quarterback thing going on. I'm not sure where it is or where it's going. I have no idea. Except there was some, Bailey Zappi, fever going on for a few games there.
Yes.
Yeah. So but I will tell you, Patriots defense has been extremely consistent since they started. Now, do they have to get a little better? Yes. I think they have to get better, but I think they're getting better.
Game?
What?
Did you watch the Bears game? And you're going to say the defense has been good?
The defense has been. I'm just saying, compared to the offense. Let me rephrase that. Compared to the offense, the defense has been better. But the only way to win games is to have an offense. So you have to. I mean, you win games with defense, but you have to score points, dude. So, I understand, but that's one game. That's one game.
I know. I'm being somewhat facetious, but
it is one game. Yes, and they're not going to go out and like kick everybody's ass. They're just not. It's just not going to happen.
Able to beat the Chicago Bears. I will say that
should be, and I was very surprised at how they should have just sat on the field and let the Bears play themselves. Or I should say play with themselves, because it would have been a much better game to be able to see a better game, because they played like crap. Okay,
I mean,
but
when your offensive line either holds or doesn't block anybody every single play, it's going to be very hard to score points when you have that happening.
I totally get that. But all I was saying is that in my opinion, just the eye test. In my opinion, and okay, in my opinion, the defense has played much better than the offense.
Yes,
obviously,
I
the
totally
offense has
Yeah.
been very straggly. So in the Jets game, 3 interceptions. They have, and this is a full stat as of today. They have
Okay.
16 takeaways.
Yeah.
That is one of the league leaders. They have 10 interceptions. They're tied with the lead leaguers, the lead for the lead in the league with 10 interceptions.
Okay.
And they have 23 sacks. That's also a leading stat.
Yeah.
So just with that, and I know I understand the Bears game, they sucked. They sucked on both. They sucked on all 3 phases of the game, Bill.
Yeah.
Okay, Bill, they did. They sucked on all 3 phases. The Bears kind of came out and they said, "We're gonna freaking win this
Apparently,
game."
the Bears who weren't they thought they were that night.
No, but as you notice, the Bears got their ass kicked this weekend, so they're not exactly who they thought they were. Which makes it even worse for us, thinking that we're much better than the Bears anyway. So why didn't we win that game? I do not know. Okay, it's on that on any given Sunday is kind of what I say. So I'm going to throw right out to you, and I think you've already expressed yourself a little bit already, but I wanted to throw it out to you. First of all, what do you think of those stats? Those stats are on defense are close to league leading right now.
Well, listen, and my comment earlier about the Bears was sort of partially tongue in cheek. I will freely admit that. I do definitely agree with you that the defense has been far superior to the offense this season. The defense has actually been keeping them in games a lot of times, or helping set up the offense to, on the rare times that they do make plays and score touchdowns, which, as you said, you need to do to win football games. The defense has been a big help at times in that regard, sort of setting them up in good field position to do that. I think that, yeah, the defense, has the defense been to the levels where it was a few years ago? Absolutely not. I mean, the defense has had their struggles, definitely less than the offense has, but it goes back to the fact that when you look at this Patriots team so far this season, it's been one big ball of inconsistency. 1 week they're playing like a team that could potentially be a playoff contender, and then the next week they're playing the Bears and getting their ass kicked at home by a team that has no business picking up a football, as far as I'm concerned. I honestly don't know how to assess this team, even with the eye test. I honestly just do not know their offensive line. I think you and I could play better offensive line than the Patriots offensive line does right now. They fold like a cheap suit. They just, like I said, they either, I don't know, just that say.
It's a saying.
Yeah, I completely botched the saying. We're just gonna look past that. Um, the fact of the matter is that I was not being tongue in cheek when I said that literally in the game against the Bears and in other games this season, you can count on the fact that the Patriots offensive line will either hold somebody or miss a block and allow a sack or a tackle for loss on pretty much every play, if not every other play. And I think that is just it's been frustrating. It really has. I understand, you've had the injury to Mac. I understand, you've had offensive line injuries. You have more offensive line. I mean, David Andrews is in concussion protocol this week. Marcus Cannon is in concussion protocol this week. I mean, it's like the walking wounded out there. But to get back to your original point and sort of question there, the defense has definitely been better. I just think that in all three facets of the game, to go back to your sort of Billism there, there's just so much room for improvement. And I don't know. I guess it's hard because I've gotten so used to having such high expectations for this team that it's hard. It's been very hard, even though it's been, this is the third year post Brady. It's been so hard to come down off of those, sort of high expectations and sort of get myself back into a mindset of what this team now is in terms of how it's currently constituted. And this is a middle of the pack team by nature. This is a team that, obviously they can definitely, compete for a playoff berth if they're fully healthy and if Mac is playing well and stuff like that. But they're not a team that's going to win 13 straight AFC East championships. They're not a team that's going to be a perennial 1 or 2 seed in the AFC anymore. It's just not going to happen for several years to come. And I think I'm finally starting to come to grips with that time is done. It is now time to sort of focus on, okay, what is this team looking like now? And basically, like I said, they're looking like a middle of the pack team, and they are playing like that right now is what it boils down to.
So, no, I understand that. We were actually texting back and forth, I think, during the Bears game, if I remember correctly.
I believe we were, yeah.
Yeah, so we were kind of texting back and forth then. And who started that game at quarterback?
It was Mac.
Right. And he was playing like crap.
Yeah.
And of course,
partially because
I said bring Zappy in.
Yeah.
I said bring him in.
Yeah.
And once you bring him in, Zappy got 2 touchdowns.
But then afterwards, that's the problem. No, you're absolutely right. You were absolutely right on that. But then after that, the offense went back into its sort of, I don't know, back into its cave.
Yeah.
Call it that.
I totally get that. I'm just trying to figure out whether the and I'm not talking about the 2 quarterbacks. I'm talking about whether people are a little bit confused.
I'm very confused. I mean,
I'm not talking people. I'm talking about the Patriots players are kind of confused. Okay, are we going with Mac? Are we going with Zappy? Who are we going with? Who are we supposed to play with? You notice when Zappy was out there, I believe, and again, it's not like he was playing San Francisco, but I'm just saying that when he was out there, I'm not saying you should go with Zappy versus Mac in the first place. What I'm saying is that when I have watched, when Zappy's been out there, the offensive line has been pretty damn good. Hasn't been bad, except for the Bears game. Obviously. We're not even talking about that. But just because we just mentioned that and we've been talking about it for
yeah.
But the confidence, there has to be some confidence level. And they've talked about it on other shows too. So it's not like I'm getting this from the air.
No.
Confidence level that has been since Mac has been hurt has been through the roof because Zappy was playing very well. And the confidence level was there. And he was able to say, look, these, and this is what I'm hearing also. There's been some reports out there on different stations, on different podcasts and stuff like that, that Mac has a very stringent way of playing and that he's not necessarily open to certain things. He wants to play his way, and then there's yes, you can call him the offensive coordinator, which he's not really. Talk about the guy who's actually, putting plays together. Kind of a rough kind of situation between the two of them with Mac, because Mac is not willing to do certain things, willing to do his own things, but he's not willing to kind of open up a little bit. And Zappy's like, just tell me what the freak to do, man, and I'll do it. I don't have a problem doing anything. You tell me what to do. I've played in the NFL now. I've played games. I have won games. You just tell me what I need to do, and I'll do it. And willing to do anything to win. So I'm trying to figure out, I'm confused. I'm confused about who I want in there to start and to play. When Zappy went in there, I was like, okay, this kid's going to get his ass kicked. I mean, it's not like he comes from the University of Florida or Florida State. It's like he's going to get his butt kicked. But he's willing to follow the coaches. He's willing to follow what. Now, there was just a report this past week that says Mac is now willing to do whatever. Now, what is that? What is that? And where does that confidence level? How does that confidence level hit the other side of the team, which is the offensive line, the defense? Obviously, it's not affecting Matt Judon, who, by the way, I think is the freaking best player on the Patriots team, and probably the best defensive player in the league at this point.
Absolutely.
By the way, I play Madden on the TV, and he's the best player too. Unbelievable on that.
Absolutely.
So, and he wears the red.
I love the red armband.
The red arm, the red sleeves.
Yeah.
It's the red sleeves. On the video game. It's pretty cool.
Okay. All right.
I could change that. I can make him wear something different, but I'm like, he does that all the time, so I'm going to just keep it.
Yeah.
But again, this is what I'm talking about. Where do you think the confidence level is with the players that aren't quarterbacks, to the quarterbacks?
I don't know. I don't know.
That's what I'm trying to think of.
I don't know either. I mean, I think you're 100% on that. I don't think they can be confident because they don't know who's going to be starting on a week-to-week basis. Like, how can you be confident if it's totally up in the air like it is right now? My thing is here. I mean, honestly, and here's my honest question: is that when you look at the type of injury that Mac had, a high ankle sprain, something that and again, you can correct me if I'm wrong, or people out there can correct me if I'm wrong. The comeback time from an injury like that is usually what, maybe like six weeks on average, something like that.
I would think so. I mean, I'm not a doctor, but
no.
I'm assuming that they had said it was between 6 and 8 weeks.
That's from what I've said, from what I have read, and I think from what you and I have both read, is that is sort of the usual recovery time. Mac was back in 3 weeks.
So you think he's still hurt?
I think he is too. I mean, yes. To answer your question, yes, I think he is. I don't think he's. I mean, look at that Bears game. I don't think he looked comfortable at all. Minus the offensive line not even giving him a chance to get comfortable. I don't think he's 100%. I don't think he's 100% at all.
Do you think that they're? Well, I mean, I can understand that. I mean, football players play with injuries all the time.
Of course, yeah.
I mean, it makes sense. Even if you're at a certain point in the season, most football players are not 100%. So, I mean, especially during the playoffs, I mean, they're not. They're just not. I mean, hockey players go through the same thing. There's nobody that's. I mean, with a contact sport like that, it's these guys are typically in hurt or whatever, but they're going to play because they want to play.
No, absolutely.
But I do agree with you. I think he came back too quick. I do agree with that. The issue I have is that do you think Mac is nervous about his job?
Absolutely. I mean, yes. I mean, he has eyes. Obviously, he sees the way Zappy's play. He sees the way that game by game, all of New England is falling in love with this kid. I mean, he hears. When he comes back against Chicago, and literally after the first drive, they're chanting for Bailey Zappy to come at the game. I mean, he hears and sees all that, and I think part of it. That's why I was kind of frustrated. I know you and I were kind of texting back and forth about during that Bears game. Looking back, I was kind of frustrated with the Patriots fans for doing that, because all you're doing by doing that is hurting Max. It shouldn't, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's hurting Max confidence. The fact, like, oh, the fans don't want me here. How is he supposed to get back into Irving, get back into being confident? Now all of a sudden he feels like he's got the entire fan base against him every little mistake that he makes. It's tough. It's tough because I get the want to win now mentality that we all have, especially here in Boston, here in New England. And we want to go with the high hand, and we see how well Zappy's doing, and he's winning us games, and he's a shiny new toy that we have, and we want to just keep going, keep playing with him, so to speak. But the fact of the matter is that I could see how it would be detrimental to the confidence and ability to get back strength-wise, and get back rhythm-wise to Mac Jones.
Yeah, but if Mac's coming back early and he knows he's still hurt and he knows he doesn't have enough confidence to, they even talked about some of his throws were not even, were just very strange because they weren't on, he didn't seem steady with his throws.
Yeah.
So the issue I have is that if he comes back early and he re-injures and it's worse, where's his confidence level go then? If he comes back and he doesn't re-injure it, but he plays like crap, where's his confidence level anyway? He's still going to get it from the fans. You got to go out. What you got to do is you got to do what Robert Williams is doing, which is I think he's going to be ready. Robert Williams has an injury, if anybody doesn't know, and he plays for the Celtics. He's the center of the Celtics. They say 8 to 12 weeks now.
Yeah.
Okay, you think he can come back in 8? Yeah, because he was playing injured and in pain during the playoffs and during the finals last year. So, yes, he can if he wants to. Should he? Probably not. Come back when you're supposed to come back and then prove to everybody that you're all set, you're 100%, and then you're good. If not, your confidence level is going to go into the crapper because you're not going to play well because you're not you're not bending your knee enough because you have a sprain and it's not properly healed yet. And you're coming back because you're nervous that you're going to lose your freaking job. It's kind of like a vicious circle. But the fact is that I don't think he did himself any good by coming back after 3 weeks. I just don't.
No,
he was cleared. He was cleared by the doctor. He wouldn't have played if he wasn't cleared.
Obviously. Yes, obviously he was cleared. Obviously he was well enough to come back. But I think what your question and my question is that should he have? And I'm not convinced that he should have. I'm not convinced that it was.
I don't think he should have.
No, I'm not convinced that it was worth it. The result was not worth sort of him coming back. And even you look at the Jets game this past week. I mean, he got bailed out. He got bailed out when he threw a pick six that he got, that was roughing the passer. But it was a completely right call. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Warranted roughing the passer penalty. I'm not saying that. But the fact of the matter is that, it bailed him out in the stat sheet and then all that because otherwise that's a pick six going the other way. And you probably lose that game. Because I think they actually went down and scored on that drive, once it was sort of extended because of the roughing the passer penalty. But I mean, it goes back to the fact that you are not settled right now in terms of the quarterback position, and that is having a cascading effect on your entire team. No matter what they say in the press, because obviously they're not going to come out and say that in press conferences or whatever, but the eyes don't lie, so to speak. So I think that's what goes back to my overall point is I don't know what to make of this Patriots team right now, and I don't know what to make of this Patriots team going forward over these next 9 weeks. It could go either way for me, and Bottom line is that really sums up perfectly. It could go either way.
Yeah, it's a really a wait and see kind of thing, and see kind of what happens. The other thing I just want you to think about, and for everybody else who's watching, all the 2.5 people out there that are watching, team versus
By the way, if
individual.
you're half a person, congratulations, I think. I don't
Team,
know.
yeah, team versus individual. What's best for the team?
Right.
Just want to throw that out there.
No,
What's best for the team?
It's true. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if you were looking for an answer, but I don't know if I even have an
No,
answer.
not really. I was just kind of throwing it out there.
Because I don't know if I don't really have an answer to that question at this moment.
No, I didn't expect you to. It was just one of those things where I prefaced it by saying I'm just throwing it out there to people to think
I
about.
hear you.
Team versus we need to see what's going to happen with Mac and Zappy going forward. I don't know what's going to happen.
It's a great
So
question.
I don't have any idea. So it's just very very. It should be a very interesting situation. It's great for podcasts and for sports people because it's great for talk radio. So that's certainly going to happen in podcasts.
Absolutely.
So we'll have enough to talk about it. But talk about the Patriots being inconsistent. Love to talk about a team that is very consistent right now.
By the way, winning tonight so far 1-0. Second period.
Very, very consistent. They are 9-1-0 in the year so far.
Love it.
They actually broke a NHL, Boston Bruin record by getting the most points in, I think it was 4 games, 3 games, 4 games, something like that. They had 16 points in like 4 games, which is outrageous, which is crazy. But they are on an absolute.
Well, you mean goals or standings points?
No, not standings, points. They get points.
Right. No, but I mean, are we talking about just is it goals and assists? I don't know what kind of points.
It's goals and assists, whatever they get points for.
Okay.
It's a combination of whatever they get points for.
Gotcha.
I think they get assists and goals and all that kind of stuff.
I think it's goals and assists are the main point category.
Yeah, that's what it is. But they had 16 points, which is crazy.
That's great.
They had that up on I think it was the fourth game. I can't remember which one, but again, Boston Bruins record.
Wow.
Boston Bruins record, and it really doesn't mean much. The points don't really mean anything as long as you're winning games. But that's not really. It's I am so excited to watch this team.
Oh, I love that.
They could take on any team right now and be
the Penguins game. The Penguins game is a perfect microcosm.
Penguins game is a perfect example.
2022-23 Bruins season so far, down 5-2.
Yep.
5-2, and you rally to win in overtime. Any other team at 5-2 would have basically thrown in the white flag. Not this team. No, not all. Not at all. Just grind. 1 goal, 2 goals, 3 goals. I mean, it's amazing.
That's the difference. That's the difference between this year, and I know they also have a new coach. I think he's made a huge difference. My wife and I actually watched. It's called Behind the B. Which, by the way, if you haven't watched this, if you have Nesson,
right?
It's on Nesson.
Yeah.
What they do is it's kind of like a microcosm of what they've done up until the point in which they are now. So it's behind, and that's how I knew about the costumes that they wore because it was on Behind the B.
Right.
But Behind the B is it's behind the scenes, the Boston Bruins, basically. That's basically what it is. It's very, very cool.
Yeah.
Watch it because it will show you locker room scenes, which you don't get to see. It will show you that, different guys get to hand out pucks. It will show you, different kinds of things that you haven't seen before. That's definitely a recommendation if you love the Boston Bruins, you got to watch Behind the Bay.
I've watched some episodes, and Doug is absolutely right. It is a very good,
Phenomenal. I think every team should do that. It's awesome. It's really great how they do it. I love the fact that even if you don't watch a game, you can actually watch behind the scenes and actually watch bits and parts of that game that you also missed. So it's kind of cool that way too. I mean, it's not like a play-by-play thing. It's a behind the scenes. It's
like documentary style, basically.
Yeah,
what it is. Yeah,
that's exactly what it is. It's very cool. Yeah. One of the things the coach said is we have to play like a team. And what coach doesn't say that? I mean, isn't that? I mean, Robbie, you've coached at River State Camp, and you've coached in other places.
Yeah,
I've also done that too, in different camp settings. And every coach says you got to play as a team.
Yeah,
the way he puts it, it's like not just everybody's part of the team, but it's almost like a family member. And he put it in a totally different aspect, in which it was like, whoa, I've never heard that before. So it's not just the coach; it's what they did in the offseason. I can't believe I'm saying that Don Sweeney did a great job in the offseason. Can't believe I'm saying that, but he really did.
Oh boy.
He really did. He really did. What I like is that he kept the basics, the pasta, the Marchand, the Bergeron. Thank you.
You know, the captain of the team, no big deal.
Yeah, we got back Krejci.
Yeah.
Krejci came back. Now, Big Z retired, but retired a Bruin, so he took a 1-day contract.
That was awesome.
You'll see that. You'll see that on Behind the B. Behind the B will cover that. So that's really cool.
That was so awesome.
That was great that they were able to do that too. But the question I have for you, Robbie, is what is the difference between the first 10 games this year and the first 10 games last year?
I mean, I hate to say that I don't particularly remember the first 10 games from last year, but I mean, they just here's the thing. Here's the thing that intrigues me, Doug. Before I get into that question, I do want to point out this very interesting fact that obviously, as we just mentioned, the Bruins have the best record right now in the NHL through 10 games. But Doug, I'm sure you know the answer to this question as to the team that is behind them for the second best record. Is the Vegas Golden Knights, who happen to be coached by Bruce Cassidy. So I just wanted to throw that out there. That is kind of funny and ironic how the team that is right behind the Bruins in terms of record so far is Bruce Cassidy's new team. That being said, I think that what Montgomery has done, again, coming in the first... And by the way, this team is not yet 100% healthy-wise. Like, they are not.
Oh, no.
McAvoy's still out. Krejci's now banged up. Swayman just got banged up the other night.
Yep.
This team is nowhere near being 100% healthy, and they're still doing this. Like, so, I mean, if this team could get back to 100% health, look out. Look out, because if they're doing this with the way they're currently constituted, they get those remaining pieces back, like a McAvoy, which it sounds like his road is getting closer and closer here.
Yeah, he's skating now. He's skating.
Just look out. But I think you got to go with the coaching. I mean, he just hasn't installed whatever he has said. His players have a renewed sense of sort of guts. Is sort of the best way I can use to describe it, because they don't panic when they're down 3 goals in the third period. They don't get down on themselves, whatever the situation may be. They just continue to grind and grind and grind. And even the game that they lost against Ottawa, I think it was a 6-5 game. They were down by like 2 or 3 goals in that game. They cut to a 1-goal game, even though they lost. I think that this team, there's just a renewed sense of energy and excitement about this team that I don't think we saw last year. And it is thrilling to me to see that because, this team has the ability, I feel like, as we've seen over the last few years, the window is not fully closed yet for this team, especially if you look at the way they're playing right now. Now, obviously, it's only 10 games in the season, and, things could happen. We don't know where they're going to go from here, but the bottom line is that I just see just such a renewed excitement and energy and just guts with this team, and it's something that I haven't seen in a couple of years at least, and it's just so exciting. It's so exciting as a Bruins fan to be able to turn on this team every night, and even when they get down by 2, even 3 goals, you're like, they're not out of this game. This game's not over, and we saw that just the other night against Pittsburgh.
Yeah, absolutely. I also think that you always want to have a deep team. Also, you always want to have, if somebody gets hurt, you always want to have the backup being very close to being as good as the people coming in. I think that they have developed that. Providence bringing guys in, and I just think that they're playing much faster because this is a much faster game. The younger teams are, like last year, the year before, running right over these guys. Yeah. Absolutely running right over these guys and being able to, they're not letting them across the center line. This year is totally different. They have some speedsters. They're playing together. They're playing as a team, and and they're deep. They're just. I don't mean like. Oh, I meant like I mean like like the deep as in if somebody goes down, McAvoy goes down, we can throw somebody in there. I know Riley just came back tonight, defensive guy. Yeah. So it's one of those things where when people get hurt, Marchand, talk about coming back early. He wasn't supposed to play that early.
Right. Oh, absolutely.
But what was interesting is that he was big in the game against Pittsburgh. I don't think he was supposed to play in the game against Pittsburgh. But he said, look, I'll be ready if someone gets hurt, and someone got hurt.
Yeah.
And he played, and I think he scored 1 or 2 goals during that. I think, I don't know. But what I'm saying is that you always have somebody willing to come in and help out.
Young guys, too.
But,
talk about the young guys, these first, second-year guys.
Yeah, you got Greer.
I can't even remember their names, some of their names, but
Greer is really good. Product of Providence.
Burst onto the scene, and have been making their presence felt here early. You look at a guy like Taylor Hall making a big, making an impact for this team so far this season. It's not just the top tier guys. It's not just the Pasternaks, the Bergerons, the Marchands. It is sort of all the way down the lineup. Every night it seems like a new guy stepping up big and making the player getting the goal when they need it. And so that's what you love to see. That's what you love.
Yeah, I mean exactly to your point. Foligno is a perfect example. Older guy, 34 years old, 35, whatever. Older guy, older player, very, very good player still. He scored 2 goals the whole year last year. He's already got 3 goals.
Yeah.
And it's only 10 games.
And then there's the guy I want to say his name is Forland or something like that, but I don't know, I'm completely blanking. What?
You mean Forbit?
Yeah,
he just got hurt. Yeah, he just got hurt.
Yeah, but again, just another guy who so far this season has had an impact. Like I feel like I'm just hearing his name over and over again. Sort of in there making plays.
The guys that Sweeney got this past year and even last year, even last year, I'll say, Foligno, Corbett, Lindholm, great defenseman, Lindholm, unbelievable defenseman, and a scoring defenseman, which, by the way, we needed badly. These guys, Greer is a product of Providence. Greer came in and made the team because he was incredible during the preseason.
Yeah.
He's super fast. He knows how to score goals. He did really, really well in Providence last year, the year before. Just really, really great guy. I mean, I know that they just made a small trade. It was they sent Stanika for 2 minor league guys. One's a goalie, up and coming goalie, Pietro, and this other guy, this Swedish guy, who's played in the Swedish league. So they're both going to be in Providence, but they're also, good up and coming guys. So they may be able to help down the road. So Stanika is gone. Stanika, a great player, Providence Bruins product, also very fast, very, very good. I'm hoping they made the right decision. I get a little nervous when they send these really good guys out.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to do that to make space, or to make, if the trade deadline's coming up, sometimes you send somebody out like that because you can, just to make some space so you can get somebody else or whatever. But again, they're faster. They're playing very good defense. They're rocking teams, rocking them. And they're also, it's a never say die.
Yeah.
It's a never say die.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's totally different than last year's team, because last year's team, they were down 3-0. Oh, well, whatever.
Yeah.
We're probably not going to win this game, so we'll just go through the motions.
Right.
This year is totally different. This year, even at the end of the second period, and they're down 5-3 or 5-2, they're saying, we can win this game. Screw it. Let's keep going. We'll go 1 goal at a time, but we'll do it.
Yeah.
Get out there and do it. So that's the difference. That's really the difference that I see. And again, it's only been 10 games. I get that. But it's amazing, and it's really, really cool. And Jack
100%.
Jack is just over the top. If you ever get to hear Jack, ever get to hear Jack on Nesson or something like that, he's just over the top right now. But he's, Jack and Brick are great.
I love
the issue, and we can talk about that. I just want to bring this up because this is a topic that we can have a whole episode about.
Right.
What is going on with the NFL and the NHL going Prime and ESPN Plus? And
the game tonight is on ESPN Plus. You can't even watch it on regular TV. You gotta have the stupid freaking ESPN Plus subscription.
And the only way that you can watch tonight's NFL game, if you don't have Prime,
is on Amazon Prime. Yeah.
Is to be in Philadelphia.
Yeah,
because it's on a local station in Philadelphia.
Really? Oh, okay.
Yes, it's if you have the game on Monday or Thursday, and it's on Prime, it will go to a local station. And I believe it's NBC Boston is the local station here. When Prime's got it, NBC Boston, I think, has the game and it's on. But it's like, what happens if you don't freaking? Dude.
You're out of luck. Follow the game on Twitter. Yeah, let's watch.
We didn't have ESPN Plus last year, and we had to listen to it on the radio.
Yeah,
but we couldn't watch it.
Yeah,
we did not have ESPN Plus.
It's like the MLB. This past season with those Friday night Apple TV games.
The streamers are now getting involved in this, and not everybody has every streaming app, and.
Or Peacock.
It just cuts out.
MLB did Sunday Peacock game, and then Friday night Apple TV game.
It's all about the streamers wanting to get money and get involved and that kind of thing. But I think my wife's watching it on Hulu. It's on Hulu. She said I went to Hulu and I got it. I'm like, okay. I'm like, Hulu. It's on Hulu now too. I'm like, what's going on?
Currently, if anybody out there is wondering.
Cool. But I just love this team right now.
That's great.
I think they have an incredible amount of momentum right now. I think they have the right way to play.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's interesting because the coach has come in on behind the B and said, even during in between periods, he will come in and say, "You guys know how to play. Let's do this. Let's do this. We know how to play. Let's go out and do it. Enough. Let's do this." So I just think it's I think they're going to be moving forward. They're going to be really, really fun to watch if you can freaking watch them. If you can't, go to 98.5 on your dial. I know it's hard to just listen to it like it's 1954, but sometimes listening to it is and you're doing something else while you're listening. Sometimes that's the old way. It's the olden days way of doing things.
Yeah.
I just think things are really confusing that way, and I think it's actually pissing a lot of people off, including the Bruins guru, who's not happy about it not being on Nesson. So it's one of those things where I think moving forward they're going to be really fun to watch, and I just look forward to seeing them.
That's great. I 100% agree, and I'm loving the way this team is so far, and I cannot wait to see where it goes from here. Plain and simple.
Absolutely. So at this time, we usually have our final segment. Our final segment is typically called our final thoughts, but right now, because of football season, Robbie is doing his fantasy recap. So he's going to do his fantasy recap, and then I have a final thought. So Robbie, why don't you go ahead and do your fantasy recap, and I will go over here and just take a little nap.
Well, thank you, Doug. It's actually
I'm just kidding.
It's typically called the Robbie Football Recap because it's both my fantasy teams and my favorite football teams are recapping in one segment.
Robbie, what's it called? I want to write this down.
Robbie's Football Recap.
Robbie's. How do you spell Robbie? Football.
2 B's, i.e.
recap. Okay, I will remember that.
Thank you, Doug.
No problem.
It's not like I said that at the beginning before we came on air, but it's okay.
Well, I wrote down fantasy recap, so that's what I wrote down. So that's kind of what we talked about. So I wrote down. But okay, now we get the real name, so I will make sure.
All good. But yeah, so as I try to actually get into the Robbie's Football Recap, yeah, seriously. No, in all seriousness, I'm going to go very kind of quick on this. We kind of already touched on one of the teams already, and that being the Patriots. Obviously, they're 4-4. They've got Indy this week, looking to get above 500 for the first time this season. We shall see.
Indy, by the way, has a quarterback that's played in 2 games.
Yeah, Allinger from Texas originally. So, the Pats beat the Jets last weekend. We'll see if they can come now back home and actually win a game at Gillette Stadium. Because I don't think they've actually won a game at Gillette Stadium yet this season. No, sorry, they beat the Lions. Never mind. Strike that from the record. They did beat the Lions. Apparently, I just completely put that game out of my memory for some reason. Yeah, seriously. Speaking of total and complete, well, actually not really, but in terms of total and complete dumpster fires, that honor belongs to the Boston College football team, who I'm a big fan of, as they currently sit at 2-6 on the season. This past Saturday, they went on the road and lost for the first ever time to UConn, 13-3. Their quarterback can't stop getting injured. Just their offensive line. Basically, they have not had here's the best sort of noteworthy piece to describe the Boston College football offensive line this season. And that is the fact that in 8 games so far this season, they have not had a single game, or they have not had 2 games of the same offensive line starting combination so far this season. So that goes to show you just how banged up and injured the Boston College offensive line is this season, and their play on the field has definitely shown. They are at home this weekend, playing Duke actually tomorrow night, Friday night game. Duke is 5-3 and is 9.5-point favorites. I have zero expectations going into the game, but I will be there, as I always am for BC football home games, trying my best to root them on to victory. And no, I will not be wearing like any sort of paper bag or anything over my head, although I'm getting close, depending on how the next few weeks go. Anyway, the final one is the Wellesley High School football team, who is sort of the light right now because they are actually into the state playoffs this coming weekend. Tomorrow night, they will be traveling to Mansfield for the Division II round of 16. So wanted to wish them the best of luck. Doug, you realize nobody can hear you. Okay. So
Oh, I know. I get it. There's a reason I have myself on mute, but I'm not gonna it's all good.
Okay. All right, all good. But anyway, in terms of my fantasy football team, so I'm in 3 fantasy football leagues right now, if I didn't mention that the first time. One of my teams is currently 4-4, and then my other team is, I just gotta look at my other 2 teams are currently 5-3. So I'm either out or above 500 currently in all 3 of my fantasy leagues, which I'm very happy about. Hoping to keep that going this weekend. We shall see. And so, yeah, that is it for the latest edition of Robbie's football recap. And I managed to do all that without looking at the screen for obvious reasons, as if you're looking at the other box on our screen. I'm not even gonna pontificate on what Doug said or may have been doing while I was talking just then. But anyway, I am now going to throw it back to Doug for his final thought for this evening's episode. So, Doug, why don't you take it away? And I'm just gonna, sit over here and and actually listen to you.
Oh, I was listening, Robbie. It was very, very good. It was very good. I just for those football excuse me, for those football fantasy people, I love it. So anyway, my final thought for this evening is a quote. I'm going to give everybody a quote, and I want to hear from you guys. I want to hear what you think about this quote, because I heard this quote tonight, and I almost fell off the couch. Actually, I fell off the couch. That's why I have a small concussion. You hate this quote, yes. If you know what the quote is, Robbie's writing in our little chat. He's writing, "I hate this quote." You don't even know what it is, but you hate it. You will hate it when you hear it, because it's from your favorite NBA player. So anyway, Robbie's fun. I don't know. Hey, listen. I've had a cough for weeks. Who knows? The quote is from our favorite NBA player, Kyrie Irving. Now, we had breaking news earlier that said Kyrie Irving has been suspended for 5 games. I think it's 5, without pay. He should not get paid, which is a good thing. So, if you haven't heard the story, and really quickly, he tweeted out or retweeted. There is this anti-Semitic movie that's out there, and he retweeted the link to the movie. And I'm not sure if he said anything with that, but I know he retweeted it, and it wasn't really a good thing. So obviously, with all this controversy, he's playing a game tonight, and he's talking to the media. And the media is blasting him right now because he did not denounce it for its anti-Semitic theme. And this is, again, why he got suspended by his owner, by the team, was because he didn't denounce it. And, again, like I talked about at the beginning, they're talking about Black Lives Matter. They're talking about making sure every single group is taken care of and that we're not, kicking anybody's butt about different groups. Not anti-Semitism, not Black Lives Matter, not, all these different groups, LGBTQ, all these groups should be taken care of in a way in which there should be sensitivity and that kind of thing. That's really super important. This is the quote. And I'm gonna start and finish with this quote. This is Kyrie Irving, quote, "I can't be anti-Semitic if I know where I came from." It's okay. It's a head scratcher. And it is because I have no idea what that means. I don't know what that means. He wouldn't answer what it means. He wouldn't denounce the movie. Yeah. And Robbie just writes WTF in the little thing over here, which told him. And you know what? I actually have it on this piece of paper, if you can see it.
Oh, yeah, now we can see. Yep, there you go.
I don't know what that means. What does it mean? I don't know. I would like to hear from you. I would like to hear from people that watch our show. I would like to hear from you. What do you think that means? I don't know what it means. I have no clue. And for the breaking news to come out like it came out tonight, which is the team has suspended him for 5 games. I think
at least 5 games. By the way, I just want to
at least 5 games.
I think say at least 5 games, so it could be even more than that.
Okay, has suspended him for a undisclosed amount of games. Yet I'm sure it will come out how many games. I think it's the correct thing to do. I think it's the right thing to do. I think it's very hypocritical, and of him coming out for this particular movie, and with all the stuff that's going on in the NBA now and the NFL and other teams of really denouncing hate groups. No more hate. No more hate. It's done. It's over. So I just want to throw that out to everybody. I want you to figure out I just want to hear from you in the comments. What do you think this means?
Doug, can I say one?
I have no idea.
Can I say one thing that I actually?
As long as it's one thing.
Yes. No, I don't mean to. I don't mean to jump in on your final thought here. But I did really kind of like and appreciate the scene at the Nets game the other night where you had those fans in the front row at the Barclays Center with the sort of anti-Semitism or just basically they were in favor of not being anti-Semitic and they were wearing shirts to that effect and were sitting right in the front row while Kyrie is playing a game in front of them. I thought that that was a great way to I appreciate that. I appreciate them standing up for the cause like that, even in a smaller way. And I just thought that was something that was it was moving in a sense. So that's all I wanted to go with there.
No, absolutely. And again, all this stuff doesn't surprise me from Kyrie.
No,
it just doesn't.
No,
it doesn't surprise me. I just now we need to have an explanation. What the heck does that mean? And at this point, I really don't care, but I'm really interested to find out what his thoughts are. But he doesn't want to give his thoughts. He's really cool with talking up to a certain point, and then being hypocritical and saying, "Well, I should be able to talk and say what I want to say." Okay, well, talk and say what you want to say. Say it.
And don't be cryptic about it either. Just come out.
No cryptic, because if you're cryptic, you're not saying
No, that's what I mean.
what
No,
you're
no.
always saying that you want to be.
That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
don't be
I
cryptic.
don't want him to be cryptic. I want
No,
him
I don't want him to
to
be
say
cryptic
what he
either.
say. Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
So that's really what it is. That's my final thought.
Yeah.
For this episode, I do want to mention that we have several other shows that Robbie and I basically do. I think, and I'm not positive, but I believe that there's a new. Am I right about a new On the Couch Talking Sports?
Yes, there is a new On the Couch Talking Sports that was filmed earlier this week.
Excellent.
Kyle is just putting together the editing genius that is Kyle is just sort of putting it together. So we'll be out hopefully in the next day or two. But yes, there was a new episode coming, and it was a great
Excellent.
episode, and you should definitely watch it when it comes out.
Yes, a new On the Couch Talking Sports with Robbie and Kyle. And then I have some breaking news.
Breaking news, buddy.
More breaking news, and it doesn't have to do with Kyrie Irving at all. More breaking news, and the breaking news is that Kyle and I, who have been doing a podcast for a little while now called Marvel at the Movies, we are doing a complete overhaul, a complete rebranding. We do have a new name, but I'm not going to mention it right now. I'm going to keep it secret for now. We will probably bring it out on our next episode, obviously. We are going to be on so many different platforms now that it's going to be really wild. It's going to be awesome. But we're going through a whole new rebranding, and we will talk more about that later on down the road.
Absolutely.
But it's going to be great, and we're looking forward to it. So, and then we have the Sports Blitz, we have the On the Couch Talking Sports, and then we have Kyle and I get together, and we're going to be doing this rebranding new show.
The artist formerly known as Marvel at the Movies.
The artist formerly known as Marvel at the Movies, which, by the way, was one of the things we thought about. Which one of the titles the new titles that we thought about for the podcast was that, and the other was The World According to Doug and Kyle, which is not going to be that. Again, going back to the movie with Robin Williams, The World According to Garp.
By the way, as you're tossing around a globe, I know people can't see it. Well, they just kind of saw you're tossing around like a little globe thing there. So
yeah, it's just a globe. It's a cushy. Oh, so anyway, so we got those 3 shows. Please watch them and comment. Please subscribe and hit the bell.
Subscribe, man. Ring the bell.
Subscribe and ring the bell. Very important. And Robbie, do you have any other thoughts?
Just quickly, just wanted to. I forgot. No, I don't remember what I was going to say now. We are on YouTube, obviously.
Yep.
We are on Facebook. We are on Twitter. So definitely, please give us a follow there, and just here on YouTube. And like Doug said, subscribe, ring the bell, and shout out Wes and Zaman Organizing.
Yes. Also a shout out to Be Smooth down in Atlanta. He does a podcast on YouTube. You got to watch him. He's awesome. He's got some other people that do it too. It's called Celtics Corner. It's awesome. He was on our show. You can see that episode on YouTube if you go back several episodes.
And by the way,
if
Beast Move, if you're watching, our doors, our DMs are always open. If you want us to maybe come make a guest spot on your show sometime. Just saying, just throwing that out into the universe.
That's right. So anyway, thank you so much for joining us on this episode of the Sports Blitz. I'm Doug. Robbie is somewhere in the metasphere.
Right here.
See, there he goes. He's gone now. And we hope to see you down the road, and thank you very much for watching.
See you later, everybody.